Now entering Nerdist.com.
Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show.
Hi, hey, I'm Laurie Kilmartin.
Hi, Laurie Kilmartin. I'm Jackie Cation.
Oh, I'm so fucking tired.
Still tired.
It's
Still
like
tired.
11 o'clock on Easter Sunday. The
Happy
whole
Easter, by the
meltdown, thank you, has shut down. We're the only people in the
No,
store
we are
right
not.
now.
No, I just Harmontown. They're getting drunk in the green room talking about long form improv.
Oh my God, you'd have to be drunk to talk about that. You can't be sober and talk about that shit.
Let's
I'm so
really
glad
just
I'm a stand-up.
exactly. Let's go back. Let's go back to the early days of stand-up comedy when improv people were mocked openly. It was a racist time. It was a colder time. Men
they were
dueled.
separated.
And there was a
never worked out in the same club.
It was the church and state of comedy.
Yes.
We
Yes.
opened it, we brought it, and then we were like, nope, get your guitar and shove it up your ass. And they're like, there's no guitar in long form. And so,
How did a guitar get in this?
I don't know. I'm just riffing at this point. I'm here all night, you guys.
Oh, man.
Let's do 5 episodes so that it'll be Monday morning and you're going to have to toddle off to
my
Conan.
God.
Oh, my God. So last week I got an email from somebody
Yeah.
who said, it was a nice guy. He's emailed me before, and he goes, I love the Dork Forest so much, but you're so nice on the Dork Forest, and then on the Jackie and Laurie show,
You're
you
a stone
aren't.
cold bitch.
Yeah, you're right. You aren't. And I was like, yeah, I'm a whole person, fuckwit. And
You
no,
don't
I
have to listen politely to somebody.
No, well, I mean, you're right. The Dork Forest. I'm listening to somebody talk about their genuine love of wrestling or.
And be honest,
bees
your
or-
mind wanders, right?
No, I can't. I have to look deeply into
That
your
sounds
eyes and give a
exhausting.
shit about the Kennedys. Remember, Laurie
Come on,
Kilmartin?
now that shit's interesting. How dare you? And you're calling
Episode
it Kathleen
3, you
Madigan
guys.
when you
It
do
was
that.
Laurie Kilmartin, Kathleen Madigan talking about the Kennedys. I learned things that day.
Roseanne Kennedy.
was Rosemary?
Rose Kennedy, Rose Schlossberg Kennedy, who is Caroline Kennedy's daughter. I think she's doing comedy.
No,
Yeah.
no.
She was HuffPo had a Jackie Onassis's lookalike granddaughter is doing comedy. I don't think it's stand up. I think it's like comedy videos or something like
Is
that.
she in the green room with Harmon? Oh my God, that'd be so crazy if one of the Kennedys, you'd be like, I gotta go meet a Kennedy.
Yeah.
Have you ever met a Kennedy? Did you ever meet Johnny?
No, I fantasized
John?
heavily about him.
Yeah. Too
And
bad.
was devastated when he died.
Right, 'cause it was-
I thought I had a shot because I read in the tabs that he and Carolyn were on the outs. I'm like, I'm in. He's going to want an interesting person,
Right.
who has an interesting career,
Right.
Even though his other female choices would not lead you to think that he was interesting.
I have no idea what his other.
Anyway,
So, but one of the Kennedy offspring, like one of the descendants, might
Yeah.
do comedy of some sort.
some kind, yeah.
All right,
That's
all
cool.
right. That's fine. Do whatever you need to do. Take that trust fund and drive to open mics in a BMW and make everyone uncomfortable.
Do you have to burn every fucking bridge you could possibly have?
Why?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
I'm so nice on the Dork Forest, and
You
then I come
are.
here, and then all of a sudden,
So
there
and
was-
so's doing comedy. Fuck that, man.
No, I'm
Good
saying-
luck in your career, dude. Easy.
You don't need a career. You got a trust fund. No,
my
I was happy. There was someone I met when I first moved to Los Angeles who drove to open mics in a very new BMW, and I remember being super like weirded out by it.
I've been resentful of wealthy comics early
Well,
on.
I didn't know. First of all, I didn't know it happened. I didn't know it was real. Because why would they do stand up? I mean,
Yeah. And it's,
that's
it's
not
so
why-
strange that you already have money but you don't have a job. It's still baffling to me.
right.
Young wealthy people.
Well, it's so, I was just home visiting my family and I was trying to explain about trust fund people that I would meet here and how it's hit and miss. There are perfectly motivated. Like if you're lucky and you find out what you want to do in life and you
Yeah.
have a giant bag of money as a doorstop, like fucking Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah.
But you have, like, you want to do art or you want to make movies or you want to open a restaurant, whatever damn thing, or a tire shop. Who knows what you want to do? That's great. But if you don't know what you want, so you're like, I'm going to do stand-up, I'm going to try to act, I'm going to try to paint, I'm going to try to open a flower shop, I'm going to ski this mountain, I might be a rock climber. I've met those people. That doesn't sound like a sad life, but those are the saddest people I've ever met in my life. Some of those people, where they don't know what they want to do. So they just, and now they're 50 and they're just like, well, I guess
know
I'll go to
what?
chef school.
You have painted a devastating picture of humanity, but I don't give a shit about them.
Oh, you did?
You tried.
You got nothing?
You were like, and
devastating
then she
picture
opened a
of-
flower shop, and when she went skiing, I'm like, fuck this bitch. Why are we talking about her? Who's this phantom rich
Well,
person?
it was like there's these. I want rich people to be happy, Laurie Gilmartin. I don't know why. It sounds like, you know, like you aspire to wealth, right? People aspire to having
Yeah.
wealth. And then you think, well, maybe it'll make me happy. And then you have kids and you give all this money to your kids and you're like, am I fucking with them? Am I fucking them up?
Yeah, I think you are.
Because then they don't have to work for something.
Right.
But hopefully they love something, right?
Yeah.
They want to be programmers. They want to
But
be
my
teachers.
thing is, why are we solving a problem that isn't ours?
Well, what I like to do is I like to live in a future that hasn't yet happened. It's one of my favorite things to do. Anyway,
That is every future.
It's true. Just by definition.
okay.
What about
But let's-
homelessness? Anyone? Okay.
What about what?
Homelessness. I don't know. As long as
Okay.
we're doing things. Anyway.
So I did a show a couple weeks ago that you've done with Bobcat Goldthwait.
Oh,
and
right.
Caitlin Gill.
In the improv lab. How weird is that?
Love the improv lab. It is such a cool little space.
It's a great space. I wish they would have.
What?
I liked hanging out at that bar, and now you got to go hang out at the other weird bar.
fucking hang out.
Who
talk to
cares?
some other drunks. No,
Okay.
you want a place to perform. Goddamn it, Jackie.
All
Hang
right,
out
Rise.
someplace
All right.
else. That's what
It's
the
true. All right.
parking. That's what the Fred Siegel parking lot's for.
That
your
is so
hangouts.
true. It's so true that I love that they have parking
But
for comics.
first of all, I started in San Francisco, and so I grew up as a comedy fan. Before I knew I wanted to do stand up, there was this guy named Alex Bennett who had a radio show in San Francisco on Live 105. And in the morning, he had a little studio audience of like 3 or 4 people, and he had comics on. So he had Bobcat, Tom Kenny, Sue Murphy, just like everyone from San Francisco
Yeah.
in that era. Warren
Coming up.
Thomas, Dana Carvey, Bob
Wow.
Rubin, everybody, like the heavy hitters of San Francisco, Johnny Steele, et cetera, et cetera. And when I was, before I found stand up, I was listening to like Bennett. I was a house cleaner. I'd like dropped out of UCLA, had a complete breakdown and gained like 60 pounds, wasn't swimming anymore. And I was cleaning a house in Orinda. And it was a woman who wore like tiger skin pants.
Oh, leopard skin?
And, yeah, leopard skin pants, and she had like a 14-year-old daughter, and she was married to a much older man who was clearly not the it was the
Right.
second,
Right.
she was like clinging. She found a place to stay. Like I always felt like I was happy for this lady that she got herself and her daughter
She landed on her feet
a bed.
like a tiger would.
Like a leopard.
Like a leopard would in leopard pants.
So I remember so
It was
many
a different
memories.
time. Men dueled.
Cleaning this house in Orinda and listening to Bennett, and then Bobcat, of course, was one of them. And this is
Right.
before, and then he went on to become huge.
Yep.
And so now he's doing a lot of directing. He did Barry Crimmins' documentary.
Yeah, and he did Shakes the Clown, and he did many other.
Yeah,
he's done a
yeah.
bunch of movies, and then he directs Marin on a regular basis.
Oh yeah,
IFC, yeah, on IFC channel.
So he has a show. He does a show at the lab. Is it every Tuesday or Wednesday?
I think it's once a week in that lab space. I don't know if I think it's a Wednesday.
Yeah, with Caitlin Gill, who
Is
who's-
awesome.
She completely busts his balls all the time. Like he'll tell stories and then
They are
she'll
roommates. Do you know that they live together?
Yes, I found that out on stage. It's a very strange situation.
Right, because
but
she's
it's
11,
kind of awesome.
and he is 612. And
I
and
think
you'd
he's
think that,
our age. I hate to tell you.
well, and I'm
He just
I'm
had a-
612.
Oh, okay.
So I'm willing to be 612.
You look 611.
Well, thanks for shaving that 12 off. But the crazy, and you would think that at this point he would live either alone but he lives with his daughter and Caitlin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So she just crushes him on stage.
Yeah, it's
all the
pretty
time
great.
While he's talking about his stories, and at one point he was complaining about his third Letterman, and she's like, "You did Letterman 3 times." Like he didn't have enough time to prepare or something. But yeah, it was really cool. It was really fun, and I had never met him. Like you
never met him?
He became famous and moved to LA before I started doing stand up, or was
Right.
around at least to be in his circles, and so I never met him. I think I met him once at a festival.
So did you just meet him?
Yeah, so he brought me up on stage, and I'm like, oh, that's fucking Bobcat, and he means a lot to me. Like I don't,
Yeah.
From hearing him while I was cleaning houses
And being a
constantly
San
on Bennett.
Francisco comic.
Yes,
Yeah.
it means a lot. So,
It's like what I think of
was
Will
kinda
Durst,
wild.
quite honestly.
really,
Yeah, because Will Durst is from Milwaukee, and I never
Oh,
got to
that's
meet
right.
him. Yeah, so.
he's a San
But he's a San Francisco
You could
comic.
meet him. Yeah.
I have since met him.
Yeah.
And it was kind of exciting. And he was like, you shouldn't be that excited. But I'm sure Bobcat was like, you shouldn't be that excited. So
Yeah, I don't think he.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was pretty cool. But we brought this up a while ago. We were going to talk about the origin of this certain kind of mocking of comedy, where it's how's it done? You kind of like tell a joke and then you go like that, and you sort of like lose the words of the punchline of the joke because you kind of eat the mic a little bit.
Oh, you tell the joke and then you're like, blah, 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 or whatever, just to sort of mock your own
need a
joke,
better-
that kind of thing? Or?
It's kind of okay. It came from a lot of San Francisco comics do, where you and I can't come up with an example, but it's I'm at the improv, and you sort of like
You eat the mic?
you eat the mic, and it's the more I describe it, the less funnier it is. Oh my god!
Well, it feels like-
I'm ruining something magical.
Because it was magical?
But what we used to do is Larry Bubbles Brown, I think, is the guy who originated it, where it was sort of making. There was a whole bunch of hacks where they were bad comics, but they knew how to sound like good comics, and so
They had the right cadence.
They would,
sure.
they do the setup like this, and then they go in the car, and instead of having a funny punchline, they would just go real low and loud on the punch word,
Okay.
and it sounded like a joke, you
Right.
know, and the audience would get in a rhythm and still be laughing at it, even though it technically wasn't funny. So then to make fun of them,
Technically,
you
it
would just
wasn't funny.
you would-
Please call the show Technically It Wasn't Funny.
technically not funny. But it's just sort of making fun of that kind of person, and
That's an excellent impression of Larry Bubbles Brown, by the way. It's Larry Bubbles Brown.
He's one of those guys, and I think every city has every comedy scene has a comic like this who's not going to leave. They don't leave the city,
Right, but he's
brilliant.
really
and
funny.
they stay brilliant,
And they just
and they
don't
keep
ever want to
performing.
travel anywhere.
Yeah,
and you're
for
like,
whatever-
"Oh, you're
Larry's
just gonna
not
stay."
a traveler. Yeah.
He has no interest. And he did Letterman twice, right?
Once.
With 30. No,
Oh
twice.
no, he did it twice. Yeah, he had 30
once
years
and then
in
30
between.
years in between.
God, that guy he's so funny. He's great. Yeah.
Oh, he cracks me up. He always features for me at Rooster Teeth Feathers.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, great, Larry, because you're gonna kill, and then people are gonna come and see him, and then I'm gonna go up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I do my time. It's fine.
I'm
But
sure you do fine.
It's all right. It's all good. So, wow.
Let's
yes.
just let this space exist.
Do you like this silence?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful silence. It's okay. So Tracy Ashley, who we have mentioned on this program
Yes,
before,
very funny.
very funny comic, is
And didn't we say get her off the road?
that was she was the woman comic of the week. She was the
Yeah,
comic
we're
of the
saying
week.
get her off the road 'cause she's always doing these crazy gigs in little shitty college towns we've never
Right,
heard of. Well,
right,
guess
right.
what? She got an upgrade in the road gigs.
Yeah,
Isn't she opening for
Tracy Morgan.
Yes.
Yeah, so she's opening for Tracy Morgan, and she posted this article in Rolling Stone that neither of us read. I think we should have a segment where I just send you articles and go, "Hey, I don't want to read this. I assume I know what it's about." And
Where
then
we weigh in based on the headlines. This
Right.
is outrageous.
here's the thing: we don't know that. I don't know that this is what the article is about, but here is a real issue that people continue to come up to me and say. They say shit like, "Wouldn't it be great if Trump were president for comedy?"
Oh, right.
And in this case, the article was about, in Rolling Stone, ostensibly, possibly, it was about how the accident that Tracy Morgan went through has made him funnier. And I don't think either of those two things is necessary. I think that Tracy Morgan, if he had never been in a damn car accident,
Yeah.
would have continued to be very funny. And he doesn't need to be in a car accident to be funnier.
You know, no, and no trauma needs to happen to you to make you funnier. You're funny, and things happen, and that's how you look at them.
Yeah.
And so in his case, it's something that doesn't happen to many people, is a very, very deadly car accident or
Right.
bus accident. In Richard Pryor's case, it's setting yourself on fire. That hardly ever happens to anybody. But when it happens to a funny person and they
Right.
survive, they're going to come up with a great way to talk about it.
Is it like when Steve Martin was in that parenting movie? So sorry.
You just don't want to be in show business anymore, right? Just admit it. It's cool. It's not for everybody.
It's cool. It's not for everybody. As Dave Tribble, give me a call.
We'll all end up back where we started, and I'll be so happy. If I'm 80 years old and I'm on a Tribble run, I'll be so happy. That
Just
will be
to-
awesome.
As long as you don't have to stay in that Super 8 again.
Fuck, I'd love the Super 8. Bring it on. If you're still performing, you win. That's what
That-
I feel like. And
that is true.
And I was talking to somebody else about this, about like working cruises, and that's the worst.
Oh, right.
No, it's not.
No, it's
they're
not.
still in show business. It's not the best gig, but
Right.
they're still doing it.
But here's the trick. If I were working cruises, I would be like, I wonder how I could continue to do the jokes I want to do and still work a cruise.
Right.
Because sometimes you have to go so deep into the vault that you're like, I got to make this safe. I got
have
to
to
make
be
this
so
safe
clean,
for people.
yeah.
So clean and so safe. But it doesn't mean that the people can't think. You know, you just have to you just have to make it about stuff that isn't going to terrify anybody. Like, you can't talk about your innards, and
Yeah.
you can't talk about sex.
You know what I propose, if there was a comedy union, is there be one 45-minute set that every single comic did when they were on a cruise. The same set, because the audience doesn't know and they don't care.
Right. They are just hoping to get a
Yeah.
shrimp ring.
So instead of
Yeah.
everyone like trying to, clean up their shit, it's like, no, here's the 45-minute set. You're the comic. It's almost like licensing a play or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And that way, no one has to worry about dumbing down their shit, and the cruise will never worry about if it's too blue or not, because they know.
They know exactly what you're going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Then I definitely don't want to work that cruise ship, because I don't want to do somebody else's 45. I would rather massage my 45 into a bread pan.
What if every cruise comic, everyone, I've never done one. I
No,
want to before I die.
me
though.
neither. I
We
don't.
all submit one joke that's clean on a cruise,
Right.
and we all just throw it in, and then we're all allowed to use that act.
Really nice guy that I met a couple of years ago named Dennis Blair. I think he does them a bunch.
Wasn't he Carlin's opener for a long time?
He was good friends with Carlin and worked with him for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
And but I think he's doing a lot of cruises now. And yeah, he could. The thing is I think if you've done a lot of cruises, you could help somebody massage your act, which is something I also don't want anyone doing. I don't want anyone fucking touching my act.
You're at odds with all opportunities tonight.
I am at odds. It is midnight on a Sunday.
On Easter
Sunday. I don't like ham. I'm just gonna admit to people
It's
right now that
gross.
I don't enjoy
I
ham.
don't like eating pink things.
I don't like a pink food. People like ham. I don't want any part of ham.
It's a great word, though.
Ham?
Ham's a funny word.
What about ham steak? Oh my gosh! When I was back when I was back in South Milwaukee,
Yeah.
a friend of mine from high school who married a very conservative Christian woman, and then they both started doing improv.
Oh, God.
And then anyway, so they're wacky devout Christians. And by the way, he's still very funny, but I hadn't talked to him in 20 years probably because she didn't like him to have friends that were women. Mm-hmm. He was always safe. We were safe from each other,
Yeah.
quite honestly. Anyway, but he came to town to go to the show at my high school, and we went out to dinner. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We go out to a steak joint. You know when you go out to a nice steak joint and the steaks are a la carte?
Okay, yeah.
So they're usually $45. They can be $45, or they can be $150 if they're massaged Wagyu, banana head, whatever. This was one of the greatest steaks I've ever had in my life. $26, and
Wow.
and what usually happens, you order the steak, and then there's sides for the table, like a sautéed spinach or some broccoli or whatever bullshit, and they didn't have any of that. And I was like, do you guys have any vegetables? And the waitress, without missing a beat, she goes, no, we don't carry vegetables.
Oh my God.
I was like, what? And I said, well, what are the sides? And she goes, oh, they're right there. French fries, hash browns, baked potatoes, mashed potatoes, and some sort of red potato that was chopped. And I was like, wait, all you have are potatoes? And she said, yeah. Do you have an iceberg lettuce salad? She's like, yeah, we have that with some winter tomatoes. Winter tomatoes. She used the words winter tomatoes. And I was like, I don't want any part of that.
I just, during this, like that's, I got
Did you
very
wanna
lonely
cry?
during that story because I'm like, no one's ever taken me to a steakhouse.
Aw.
And I'm probably never going to go to one. Like I went to myself during your story, but
Well,
I do
it
find
wasn't
that
the three of us. It was me and my two friends from high school that I kept.
I don't
that
have friends.
You never had any friends in high school?
I have friends.
There you go. You have friends.
I have comedy friends.
You have comedy friends?
Yeah.
You don't have any friends like you didn't go to. Yeah, have you ever met those people who like went to preschool with people and then they're still friends with them 47 years later?
Yeah.
I never had that.
Yeah. Me neither.
Yeah.
I broke apart.
We have each other, Laurie. That's what we have. And we have Kyle.
An increasingly darkening meltdown. Like
As it
every
gets
5 minutes,
darker.
more lights get turned off.
Exactly. They've already
And
put the gate in the front.
More security
Let's
leaves.
just keep going. Let's just keep
And
going.
it's just us.
How about this? We throw out a year and you tell a story from stand-up comedy. 1990.
Wait, let's. I don't know that I know your stories.
Right, I know. I couldn't do it. I'm just saying.
Okay, I have. What was your first TV set?
Oh my God, it was John Biner's
Comedy on the Road. Me too.
Right on.
Yes.
Yay.
Where'd you go?
Nashville, Tennessee, Zanies. How about you? Where'd you go?
Honolulu, Hawaii.
Damn. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm super jealous
It
of
was
that.
fun.
Though I did get to see the built-to-scale replica of the Parthenon at 3 a.m, drunk
super
off
not
my
jealous
ass.
of that.
Not jealous at all. How about Mitch Fatel making fun of me right before I went on stage?
Really?
Yeah, he thought he was being
Isn't everything he says making fun of humanity?
right. Talk about bridge burning. Who's burning bridges now? And
He does have a persona on stage.
he does. He
Okay.
does. It's a whispery, molestery kind of feel. But the jokes are very well written.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they always get a nice twist. Nice work, Fatel. But he thought he was kidding, and he said something about he's just ball busting like comics
Yeah.
do. So right before I went on stage, by the way, I was genuinely wearing one of my brother's suit coats with the sleeves rolled up. Oh, find that footage, folks.
I'd love to.
Nope, I wouldn't, because I got one word for how that set went, and that word is wooden.
Really?
Yeah, it was a little stiff. I was so nervous.
Were you?
How about you?
I hate to tell you, but this lady crushed.
Did you get carried off stage?
Yes,
Yeah,
and but it was one of those things where you finish and you're like, I finally made it.
John Biner.
John
Biner.
After it airs, you just wait for shit to happen after
Just
it airs.
wait for shit to happen.
and then nothing.
Things to
nothing
roll in.
happens. Uh-oh.
Yeah, things are happening, man.
Okay.
Nothing.
Yep, the
Nothing's
last
happening.
person's leaving the building.
That's it. They're like, don't forget to light it on fire on the way out.
I had a joke about Hawaiians.
Oh,
And it's like, I'm sure it's dumb now, but at the time it was
just destroyed because of the local reference.
Yeah. I happen to have a local reference.
Oh, that's
of my
awesome.
mom being in Hawaii, being called Howley.
Yeah, yeah.
And my mom goes, "Well, Howley yourself." Stupid. Crushed.
Destroyed. I think I did my biking and bowling joke on that set.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I had some real Wisconsin cred going on in Nashville. My triumphant return to Zanies last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I did opening for Bamford.
Yeah.
They've never booked me on my own recognizance.
Why not?
I don't know, because they know that I would just blow everybody away, man. They just know that it would just be too much power in one place.
It's so.
And,
I don't understand. It's so frustrating when you can't. A club just decides no on you, and
Yeah,
you're like, "Well,
and-
these other people work me. It's not like I don't headline."
Do you know that I emailed the Improv one time with their list? I emailed Aaron, and I said, I like all these guys. These guys are really funny. In other news, we have the same credits. Why am I not working any of these improvs? And she goes, that is an excellent point. She booked me at the Cincinnati Improv and then never again. And I didn't do that well. I did okay.
Yeah,
But it was one of those improvs that seats 400, 500 people.
that's all the improv, isn't it?
Is it all the improvs
think
now
that's
where
their
it's
model.
just this lower and then there's a
Yeah.
higher and you're like, is someone doing Fiddler on the Roof? Is Hawkeye up there with his bow and arrow? Because there's no reason for all these people to be in this room that it isn't.
Well, there's just not
somebody
that many
famous.
draws.
Yeah.
52 weeks worth of draws that'll bring in all
right,
that
right.
people. All those people.
Yeah, I mean, I like, ideally, the biggest room I want to do is about 250 or 3. Mm-hmm. And
I max out at the Yoo-Hoo. I don't want
Maria
more than
likes to
60
do shows
people.
for one people right
I
now.
know.
It's so fun. She's going to coffee shops and just doing her set at somebody from across the table.
Yeah.
Completely insane. But the stand only seats what, $120, $130?
Stan, what is the Stan? It's like 80, maybe.
Oh, under 100, do you think?
I think so. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
a beautiful size. Everybody's right there. They're right in your face. You're like, you can tell them your jokes and move on with your life. And I like that. Meltdown's great downstairs.
Yes,
when
it
it's
is.
and especially when it's full. There's nothing sweeter than that
Yeah.
those 100 people.
When I was working at Greenwich, the Greenwich Village Comedy Club, and Mike Britt. Do you know Mike Britt?
I don't.
He's so funny, and he used to do Best Week Ever. We used to do Best Week Ever together.
Oh,
He's like one of the
yeah.
talking
Talking
heads.
heads?
And he's on the opening of Kimmy Schmidt, where he's the guy that sings a song that gets auto-tuned. He's
Okay.
saying, I forget what the song is, but talking about it, Kimmy Schmidt, and because you see this in New York all the time, not all the time, but when it's a really great comic in New
Yeah.
York, they get up and as soon as they're on stage, the audience is laughing. There's just some sort of connection that they have, and Mike
And they could just do it right, and even though they're not famous, they just show up on stage and they just connect.
Yeah, and then I was watching them. I'm like, fuck, I used to have that. I think I used to have that where I could get up immediately and start talking to the crowd, and it wasn't. I maybe didn't do a joke for 2 minutes or something.
Wow.
And it was all boom, 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 boom. I was just in a rhythm with the audience.
Yeah.
In a rhythm with the city, a rhythm with New York City, and if you're there all the time, you have that.
Right. I genuinely believe that all cities have that kind of rhythm.
Yeah, I do too.
And especially home clubs and
Yeah.
and a level of comfort that cannot be duplicated except for by replaying that room 1,000 times.
Yeah.
In my home club, Acme in Minneapolis, I have that. I can recapture that.
Yeah.
Immediately when I go on stage, just because I'm home.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But I remember when I lived in Minneapolis, and this still happens because Acme brings up features.
Yeah.
And there's a dozen, usually like the local headliners and will feature sometimes. And then there's the features, and then there's the MCs. And everybody has a million local references.
Yeah.
And they also have the tightest 30 in the whole wide world.
God.
And
Yeah.
so if you don't know what you're walking into at Acme, you'll have to follow somebody who
Following
has just
thunder.
lit the room on fire.
Right.
And then you have to go up and he books really strong comics,
Yeah.
so it's usually not a problem. And
Yeah.
and if it takes a day or so, he doesn't watch them on Tuesday, Wednesday, so
Yeah.
it's fine.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he gives
That's merciful.
It is merciful. It is entirely
Gets it.
merciful.
Lewis gets it.
Yeah, he's like, don't worry about it. It'll be by Saturday. You'll
Yeah.
love this room like you should love this room.
Yeah.
I just talked to him the other day. He was talking about you. He was
Really?
like, I can't get her. She doesn't have enough. There's not enough lead time.
I know.
But I want to get her back. And I was like, well, you should. And he was like, stop talking. And so
I love that room.
It's such a great. It's just my favorite room ever. But yeah, I think and that vibe is so. I think it's with Minneapolis. The vibe of that room is that there's a highway, and for some reason they have traffic jams in Minneapolis, but all they have is land. I don't know why they don't put another lane on either side, because there shouldn't be any traffic jams. They should just build more highways.
Wait, how do we get to traffic jams?
Because the rhythm of the city is the fact that they have unresolved issues with their driving situation.
Oh, I don't know if. Well, maybe you're getting
It's
quite
city.
meta, but I do feel
the
like
way the city moves, man.
okay. I can't stand hippie Jackie. I can't stand her. I don't get her.
You're not familiar with her work.
She angers me.
You have rage.
But I'm on tenterhooks because of my mother. I can't.
Right. Oh yeah. How's the house?
Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
this is like traumatizing in a way I didn't expect.
Because it's your childhood home.
Kind of. No, my childhood home was bulldozed because it was on county land and
Was your heart in a box underneath it?
Yeah,
No.
it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So, but in '89, my parents bought a different house.
Okay.
And
So
'cause they took their bulldoze money.
Right.
It was like
City.
really, they got really fucked over. But so they bought another house, and so from '89 on, they lived
Right.
there. And my dad died in that house, and then it's the house that, with this generation of parents, they keep everything. They, it was 40-year-old carpet, 40-year-old paint on the walls.
Yeah.
It just looked dingy and shitty. And so when
You guys did the big redo, didn't you?
did a
Or-
redo, we did
Yeah.
that. Put
Didn't you spend like a week and a half up there? And
Well, yeah, I spent some time up there. I kept going up there for weekends, and we hired people to paint, put new carpeting down, and just do like little tiny fixes.
yeah.
And it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like when
They could have lived such a different life if they had only spent
It hurts.
12 grand. Yeah.
It hurts to see what they were so close to. I mean, I never would have done it because my dad, neither of them would have ever left the house to
Long
allow
enough.
that to happen.
Yeah.
And my only death would let my mom part from it.
Right.
And me going, please trust me, it will make the house more valuable. and
Yeah.
people will want to buy it. Please. And
So it came to pass?
yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, my sister and I think we're all going to go on a road trip because it sold yesterday.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. And we're
So
going to
now it's in escrow or whatever?
I guess so.
Whatever
Yeah,
that is,
So we have like
with
till the end of
houses?
the month before
Okay.
it turns over.
Whatever
Yeah.
happens with landowners?
Yes.
Yeah, fair enough. Until the end of the month so it doesn't fall apart and then you... Because my in-laws...
No, I just want to see it in person. Like
Oh, you're going to road trip and check
to
it
see
out
the
for
house.
last chance.
First
last
of all,
goodbye?
yeah, our family is like we're out of the Bay Area now, and
Yeah.
there's no way we'll ever get back in because the housing prices are so crazy up there. Like,
Right.
if once you sell, you're gone.
Right.
Unless there's a huge recession, then maybe
You can
But then
only hope.
then I would be suffering from the recession too, and so I couldn't.
Right.
But it's so strange to like my dad's office, which is kind of iconic in its craziness and the maze he created. He made like 2 stories inside the office. Like he put like a plywood over bookcases and created a second story inside
For more bookcases?
for more shit, for everything. Yeah. And this is the stuff I spent. Yeah, okay. Taking all this stuff out, I spent so much time going up there and
Okay.
doing that. But okay. So, but to see it just fucking empty.
Yeah.
And a new little beige carpet all over the place
Mm-hmm.
and white walls. And the light came through the windows. It wasn't blocked by bookcases.
Right.
And I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, you wonder how much an atmosphere changes your personality, and I think, God, what if they could have lived in it when it was looking like this? Would they be different people?
Right. Would it have brightened up their days or
Brightened
what?
up anything or outlook, or I don't know. I think when you get stuck in a house and you just you stop seeing what's wrong with it. You stop seeing the shit that you're collecting.
Yeah.
And you just start to bend that way.
Yeah.
And then you just become I don't know.
Right.
It kind of hurts that my dad didn't get to see the house looking really nice.
Right, but he wouldn't have left.
No.
It would have been more.
And he probably would have been really upset.
And that the house had been changed.
Yeah. He thought it looked fine.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my dad, I talked to him today, and he was telling me about how different people have different dorkdoms. And I was like, stop talking, because that's what I do a podcast about. But it's weird. He was telling me about this weird, you can create your own micro nation, and then you can create
Oh, is that to avoid
money.
Taxes?
I don't know. There's
I've
money
read
and
about somebody
costumes.
doing
There was
that.
he read an article, and who cares? I was like, Dad,
What do you need? Now he's...
and so I'm driving down from Nevada City all day today, and so he's talking to me for like an hour, and he starts reading me this article, and it was there's sometimes when I miss my mother so much, Nancy Cation, so much, because I wish I was just sitting in a room with her and I could just look at, because in the course of reading this article, he said, so there's this woman in here. And then you hear him moving the magazine. And it's like, so she started her own nation. Flip, flip, flip goes the papers. And he goes, oh, she's pretty. And, and I was like, wow, so any magazine could be porn. That's what you're telling me. Because he literally was like, I said, this is a good looking woman. And I was like, okay, Dad, I don't need you to talk.
He's always on, man. He's always ready.
He is always.
You got to appreciate his consistency, whether he's at the grocery store or reading a magazine.
He is always.
He's ready to go.
He is ready
He's
to
ready
go.
to give you another stepmom.
Yeah, he's just like, I just wanted them all to be planted around me. Like he wanted them all to be buried together.
All
around
of his wives?
all of his wives. And I was like, you're weird. And the only thing that he has said recently, because he's optimistic in the face of all fact.
Yeah.
Always. But the only thing I ever heard him say that was depressing was he was talking about, it was literally, and I haven't worked on this at all. I mean, I don't know, but he was talking about dying. Mm-hmm. And I was like, trying to cheer him up and have him stop talking about dying. And I said, well, Dad, you'll just be up in heaven looking down, looking at us and just chilling out, saying hi to all the girls you've ever known. And he goes, heaven, you think? And I was like, wow. And
But I don't understand.
he doesn't think he's going to heaven.
But
he goes to church.
believes in heaven?
Yeah, he goes to church every week.
Yeah.
And granted, he doesn't go to church. Oh, by the way, so I was home, and my brother's like, you're coming to church tomorrow, right? And I was like, so I can meet everybody who was at the show last night? Sure, it'll be fine. And so I go to church, and every time I go to the Armenian church is 3 hours long. And my sister-in-law and my nephews are on the altar. She's in the choir. And I want to go, it's Lent. And so I'm thinking of listening to the sermon and just going to church.
No fucking way. It's so boring.
Well, I thought he's not a bad priest. He's an okay guy. Anyway, so I've never made it to church because my dad and my brother, one of the two of them will intercept me. We'll all get dressed up, the three of us, and I'll walk in, and one of them will go, oh, you're here. Let's go get a cup of coffee. And then we'll go across the street to Panera. So
that sounds great. I wish my
going to
parents
church-
had intercepted.
Going to church with my dad or my brother is essentially going for coffee on a Sunday morning.
That's okay.
It is
How
fun.
come
It's
you're
fun.
complaining about good things? I don't understand you.
Well, because I never do go to church, right? And I don't mind church. Church is
I mind church. It makes
Okay.
me angry.
and the thing is, you're Catholic, aren't you?
I was
So-
raised Catholic.
so it's
I'm
only
not Catholic
45
now.
minutes.
It's not 45. It's like an hour.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, the Armenian, it's interminable, and so.
Do
but
they speak in Armenian?
yes, half of it's in Armenian and half of it's in our English.
You're grown up. You don't have to do that shit. You're a fucking comic.
Right.
You became a comic to not do that stuff. What are you doing?
Well, and I don't go to church here because you know what churches are? Super cliquey. Kilmartin, clickier than open mics.
But why don't you also go to a Girl Scout meeting? I mean, that's from your childhood.
Well, because I don't mind church. I don't mind church.
Really?
Yeah.
But do you believe do you believe
Yeah, the greatest thing
is
about
Jesus Christ the Lord and Savior?
the greatest thing about the Armenian church is that it's all in Armenian. I can believe whatever
know
I
what it
fucking
is.
want.
I jumped off when they tried to explain the Holy Trinity to me. It's
Oh, you know what?
God,
Yeah.
Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. And
Right.
they're three different things, but they're the same thing. And I was
Right.
like, what? Yeah. No, that doesn't mathematically, that doesn't make sense.
Science, guys.
And
Science,
then
math.
I was just told to believe that. And
Yes.
that's when I was like, no, it doesn't make sense. If you can explain how 3 and 1 are the same number, by all means, but no one ever has.
You never watched the Transformers? What happens is you take 3 different action figures.
I'm
you
too
put them
tired
together.
for this. Like first she was a hippie, and now it's Easter's over. It's like Monday morning.
I was punchy the first half hour. Now you have totally gotten punchy. I have to say this though is the greatest thing because literally, and I've talked about this before, but it's like the Armenian Church. As far as I left the Armenian Church, knowing that the whole purpose of the thing seemed to be like the nice man in the picture, and then get your dad some coffee. That was the entire religion.
It's not bad.
It's not the worst thing. I'm willing to give people coffee and cookies, and then I'm willing to try to be like the nice man in the picture.
That's not what they teach you in the Catholic Church.
Well, and I'm sure at the Armenian Church, like I'm sure there's a lot of weirdo beeswax going on. If I got into it, but I've never gotten into it on purpose.
Wow.
But I would never tell anyone that I was a Christian, because everyone who says that they're a Christian, the next thing that they say is horrified. It's
I know.
never anything like I'm a Christian and
you are-
be whatever you want to be.
You're a Christian?
Yes, I am a
Interesting.
Christian. I don't tell anyone, and now I've told dozens
No, you
of
just
people.
told me.
Yeah, dozens of people that are listening, and but I did a bit about how I don't because when George Bush back in the day, George W. He always said he wanted to see the rapture. He actually said that out loud into a
Yeah,
microphone.
they do.
And I was like, that's not how the rapture works, dumbwit. You're not supposed to see it, right? Because you're
You're
supposed
the
to be
most
gone.
sarcastic Christian I've ever encountered.
No, you should meet more. The thing we don't talk about the separation. I mean, I don't tell anyone because I'm not very good at it. I'm just living my life, and whatever anybody else wants to, I don't care.
Right.
You know, and I just want to be a better person. And some of the things that I was taught in the Armenian Church are helping me to be a better person.
Yes.
And some of the things
Definitely-
that- yeah.
I mean, there's no bad message in the Golden Rule, and you
Right.
know,
And the things that Jesus
Other
probably
stuff.
actually said,
yeah,
which
the
are
Beatitudes and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, the Sermon on the Mount.
but
I mean,
everything else,
no, the fuck chops that are surrounding the Christian religion are out of their goddamn minds.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, but I'm not an atheist. I'm not. The Holy Trinity. Yes, that doesn't make any sense to me.
thank you.
But I'm okay with Jesus, and I like the idea of dragons as well. So why don't we just keep moving?
What was your second TV show?
What was my what?
Your second TV show.
Would have been Premium Blend.
What happened? Oh, it was premium.
It was
Blend.
Premium Blend,
Okay.
and there was a giant plastic hamburger on the stage with me. Jim Brewer hosted.
Oh my god!
How about yourself?
My premium blend was.
Was that your second?
No, it wasn't my second.
Did you do A-list or something like that? What'd you do?
No, I did Girls' Night Out.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Wow.
Andrea Martin was hosting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And it was at the Blue Angel Supper Club in Manhattan.
Oh,
And,
interesting.
At that time, I never occurred to me that I could live in New York City. It just seemed too wild.
Yeah.
It was like maybe 94 or something like that.
Yeah.
I scurried back to the Bay Area. This time, and they my sound went out, so they had to start my set over again. And,
brutal.
Yeah, I was furious.
And you're like, here we go, doing these jokes again.
Yeah, and they fix it in post, I guess. But
guess.
it's like they can't fix the look in your eyes.
Right, that dead look
That
in your eye where you're
I
like,
flew all the way out here,
and you guys.
and it's ruined.
I did a show for CBC a couple of years ago,
Mm-hmm.
Canadian broadcast, and they cut the last punchline. And they were like, what's your last line? And I told them my last line, and they cut it right before the last punchline. And it was the meow meow LA pet joke. But since then, I was so furious, so enormously furious. But Judah Friedlander told me that he always says his last line whenever anyone asks him,
Yeah.
what's going to be your last line? He says, thank you very much, which is the greatest.
I love Judah
Because he's perfect.
My premium blend was me, Judah, and Patrice O'Neill.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it's
yeah,
pretty
that
cool.
is pretty. I was with Steve Marmel.
Oh wow!
There you go.
All right.
And then Jim Brewer and maybe Swartzen. I
Yeah,
think it was
David Allen Greer was the host.
Little Nicky Swartzen, and
Nicky.
little Nicky Swartzen who
Yeah,
started. I
he's
knew him when
doing
he was
okay.
19. He's doing all right.
Yeah.
And but the David Allen Greer,
Mm-hmm.
he came. He was in the green room of the Premium Blend,
Okay.
and he was like, he said to me, "Who are you?" And I said, "Jackie Cation. Hi, it's nice to. Who are you?" And he could
Nice.
not believe that I didn't know who he was. But here's the thing: why would I? I don't know who everybody is, and
Yeah.
I don't have to. So don't think that I'm supposed to know who you
You're
are.
still
He
defensive
said,
all these years
I
later.
super am because he like sneered at me. He said, "I'm Dag," and I said,
Oh
"Your
my
name's Dag?"
God, Dag! He's dagging it.
And I said, "Nice to meet you." And then later somebody said, "That's David Allen Greer," and I said, "I know that name. That is a famous name." And then Elvis showed
What
up,
was
and I
your-
didn't know who he was either. No, anyway.
What was your worst TV set?
Oh, Premium Blend was the worst.
Was it?
Because the makeup.
Did you guys shoot it in L.A.?
Yeah, it was here in L.A. It was at the Wiltern or something like that,
awful.
and it was sparkle makeup. You could still see it. First of all, I'm about 50 or 60 pounds heavier than I am.
Wow.
Yeah, great. And then I blue eyeshadow. I look like a hua. I look like sparkle face hua.
Yeah.
And I.
But it was at
have
your
to-
request. The blue eyeshadow.
entirely. No, I didn't know how to. It was my second TV.
Yeah,
thing.
you don't
I didn't
know how to talk or
So,
anything,
and
yeah.
I had to, and nobody told me there was going to be a staircase I had to walk down.
Oh.
So even now when I watch that set, and why would I? I think I'm going to wipe out while I'm walking down. Like I'm watching myself walk down, thinking, she's gonna take a header. And what about you? Did you ever have a bad set?
Kimmel.
Oh, did you?
Kimmel was. It wasn't great. It was just like average, but on a late night show, it feels worse.
It feels like you just ruined
and
everything.
I ran my hand through my hair right before I went out on stage, and then a part of my hair was sticking out, like
Right, that no
like
one noticed
a
but
full
you.
circle of hair. No. Everyone noticed.
You think everyone noticed?
I know. Everyone told me afterwards, and the hair lady was like, "I wanted to go out and pat it down, and you can see it when I walk out. It's like just
A giant hair.
it's like circle of hair, almost like an ear sticking out of the top of my head because my hair was sprayed. So
Yeah,
I
so
just
it was
moved
just-
it, and it just held in
yeah.
this weird position, and
What a drag.
I didn't know it, and
Right.
and I'm sure the audience could get over it, but it is something you'd go, "Wow, it's her hair's still like
Distracting.
that."
Right, why is that still
And-
up there?
Yeah, so that wasn't great.
That wasn't
But
great.
they were super nice to me.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I haven't done that many TV sets. I did some Nick Mom thing, and then I did
that. I've done a Nick thing.
You should have done a
always
Nick
a
Mom thing
regret.
because you're a mom. And then, but they booked me when they said we're just booking people with moms now, and I was like, I have a mom. Everybody has a mom. Let's all work it.
I was I worked as a writer on the search Nick's the search for the funniest mom too.
Oh, the funniest! Did you know Darlene Westgore?
Yes, but she
'Cause
was
she
on the
won
first.
the
She was
first
on the first
season.
one. So the second season, I was a writer on that one,
Yeah.
and
Oh, it was I heard it.
I don't
just
know
fell
what
apart.
I can say. Yeah,
Well, it fell like all reality shows. Let's
They're
talk in
all-
general. The first season is usually great. The second season, they try to strike lightning at the same place that it
Yeah.
was. And Darlene Westgore won that first season.
she's really funny.
I was on a 10-week run in Australia.
yeah,
And she was like, "You have to call me." And so I spent, $13 talking her off this ledge where she was like, I don't know why I thought I could be on this show because it's Nickelodeon and my stuff is super, super dark. And I was like, well, what else are you going to do but your act? You can
Yeah.
only do your act.
Yeah.
And she has, like, at the time, she had this amazing joke about she was trying to help her son with his math homework.
Yeah.
It was algebra.
Yeah.
And she was like, I just wanted to say to him, honey, I'm a comic. Your dad's a musician. You're never going to need this. You're a waiter, honey. And so it was I was like, just do your act. And if they don't like it, you did the best you could. And they freaking loved it.
yeah, she
and
did
she
great. They
destroyed.
loved her.
She destroyed.
Okay, so the winner of season 2.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say the name.
Okay.
And it's it's not her fault
No.
that she won, but she was the very, medium experienced versus going up
newish?
against some newish.
Okay.
But she, at least.
But she sold it better? Or?
Wait, at least 50 people flew in from her hometown to watch the finale, and she blew the light. She kept she did 10 minutes, and she's supposed to do 7.
Right.
And they didn't penalize her for that.
Right.
And she killed because the audience was, and that same audience was also watching the other comics, knowing that they're being judged.
Right.
And so going, I want my daughter, cousin, etc. to win, so they're not giving it up as much.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how she won.
Right. That'll happen, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there was the year I did my half-hour special for Comedy Central.
Yeah.
They taped 25.
Right.
And one of the comics he got a standing ovation, and everyone was blown away. And then later, somebody told me
no.
that he had just bust in all of his fans, all these
my
people
God.
from Florida, and all this. I mean, they just come to see him.
I would do that on a half hour.
If I
It's not
had
a
that kind of
competition.
power,
Yeah, I mean, anything you could do. That's great.
yeah. Hey, let's do our comic of the week,
Oh, yeah.
and this one's yours.
Yeah, Jane Godley.
Scottish?
She's Scottish.
Yeah,
I follow
we're-
her on Twitter. She's insane, but she
Oh, I
makes
don't
me
follow
laugh
her.
all the time.
When you mentioned her, I went and watched her set.
You and I are like, should we talk about Perry? Like, we're all like, and she's like, fucking idiot. I got it. She's like 55.
Right.
And she's loud about it. And she's kind of like
Jane
this,
Godley. She's really,
she reminds
really
me
funny.
of Scottish Roseanne, that kind of energy of I don't give a fuck energy.
I'm just going to talk about whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I've got a husband, and I've got a kid, and I've got a life.
Yeah.
And these are the things that I will be talking about because they're funny to me. And you can come along
I
or not
love
come
that
along.
energy. Like, I don't have that energy, but I love it. I love watching women that have it. I don't
Right.
have it. It's not
I
me.
think you have. I think you.
I don't
you
feel.
have a different
I'm not over
energy.
the top like that. Over the
Okay.
top, boom, boom. Pound. Pound the audience. I kind of
Right.
like to go under and get under people's skin. That's why I feel like I come at them.
Right.
But I love someone who's big and I don't give a fuck and I'm loud.
I got cornered in South Milwaukee. Someone was like, "So what do you think about Rosie O'Donnell? What do you think about Roseanne? I don't like either of them, but you kind of remind me of both of them."
Oh my God.
And I was like, that was the course of 4.5 minutes of me politely trying to answer all these questions about comedy. But that was the takeaway. They didn't like either of those two people, but I totally reminded them of both. And I'm like, I don't even know how to.
Like Rosie O'Donnell hasn't done stand up in like 25 years.
Right. And
Why
Roseanne.
is that
I have because they don't know women comics.
Yeah.
And I was
right.
like,
oh, that drives
have
me
you-
nuts.
it is too bad because there's so many great women
I mean,
comics.
Roseanne's
around.
doing stand up.
Is she doing
Yeah,
stand up
she
again?
pops up at the Comedy Store.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Because I saw her back in Minneapolis in 90.
Really?
And she was awesome.
Before
and then
the Tonight Show or after the Tonight Show?
Before. Wow. And then I
On the
saw
way
her.
up.
Yeah, and then I saw her in 96 in Minneapolis when she was traveling with Tom.
Oh, man.
And she didn't want to go up. She had just had a bunch of plastic surgery.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to see him.
Yeah.
So he made her go up, and he just weirdly belittled her. It was like he was supposedly funny.
Yeah.
He was screwing around, and but it wasn't funny because
That
he was
didn't
like,
seem like a healthy relationship.
no, he was like, come on, Roseanne, I got chocolate. I'll give you a piece of chocolate. I mean, that was the line. It was brutal. And she was like, fine, I'll come up.
Well, that's a funny line.
It was a funny line.
It's a funny line.
Right, it felt a little
It
harsh.
depends on the
in
relationship.
Right, it felt a little harsh in the moment.
Yeah.
But
It's a funny line.
but it's a very funny line, and it's brutal. But you're like, you do it.
It is brutal. That's a good roast line. I don't know that you want to do that with your wife.
Yeah.
But if it's Roseanne, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
52.
So we're doing pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Considering we're both,
pretty punchy.
dying right
pretty
now.
punchy. Are you in town for a little while?
I'm in town till mid.
That's right. Then you're going to spend did you guys have hiatus or something?
Yeah, we have hiatus and going to New York for like 12 days.
You going to bring the boy?
No,
Or-
he's still in school.
He's still in school.
Yeah.
And then
And my mom, this is god dang it. Like, so the last weekend I'm having my beautiful my coffee at Manhattanville Coffee, and
Yeah.
I'm knowing I'm getting on a plane to go to Burbank, and it's chaos as soon as for me Harlem is peace.
Is
right?
it?
Burbank is chaos. So
Wow, that is not.
So as the plane is landing, all the texts come in. Mom's in the hospital. Her pit popped out again.
Oh,
My
right.
my sister called my babysitter, and they're taking all of a sudden it's like, oh, these people need to be taken care of, and
Immediately, before you've even landed on
like,
the.
oh. Fuck.
So quick, so close. You're like, how come I'm not sitting by those French ladies?
I know. Yeah, they asked me to.
You were at your favorite.
Okay,
coffee
I'm
shop.
at this coffee house, and I'm like, I want that seat with the back to the wall. I like a back to the wall so I can survey the landscape.
You got to be able to see the exits too,
yes,
right?
and I don't like the idea. Like I'm writing my morning pages.
Okay, oh, that's right.
For hours,
but
I don't want anyone peeking over. Not that anyone does or could give a fucking shit. But I'm still mad that I ate something, right? But
the same morning pages every day for 1,000 years.
But these ladies got up, and I'm like, and I made a beeline, and I sat and I nestled in. I was like, I'm finally so happy. I'm in my favorite seat.
Yeah.
And then this really beautiful French young woman said, "Excuse me, but my friend and I wanted to sit across from each other. Do you sit back over there?" And I said, "No, I'm sorry. I'm not comfortable here."
You can have that other chair, though. Why don't you drag it over there?
And it felt good
for
to
you.
not
Stand
give
up for
in to
yourself.
beautiful people. You know what? You already got everything going for you. You're fucking bilingual and you're pretty. You don't get my chair. Give me my chair.
Oh, Christ. Yeah. I'm here. I'm home for like 2 weeks. I couldn't be happier. I'm so happy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna plant my garden. I'm gonna sit in my house.
Yay.
I'm gonna fall over in a heap.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bank a bunch of dork forests. I don't know
Cool.
what I'm gonna do, but I'm not gonna get on an airplane. I'm not gonna get on a bus. I'm just gonna, and then I think I'm going to Texas or something.
Where? Do you know?
Austin for Moon Tower.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Are you doing Moon Tower's fun. I
Yeah.
did it once.
Oh,
It's
there you go.
great. Are you doing Bridgetown in Portland?
I'm not. Are you doing Bridgetown? Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
In fact, that's a hiatus week for us. So I was going to take my kid to Japan on
right.
vacation.
Yeah.
Just good part of me is like, I want to do as much as I can now.
Yeah.
Just from my dad, just like, oh, well, I'll do it next year. And then he never
yeah.
went on vacation.
There you
so
go.
I'm like, let's do it. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't know Bridgetown was that same week, and so they're like, hey, we're gonna see you, and I'm like, oh fuck, I already bought these plane tickets, so I had to eat some money on the plane ticket.
Right. Well, I just found out the dates for the LA Podcast Festival,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm already booked. So I can't do the LA Podcast Festival this year, which is something I really wanted to do because I like podcasts.
When is it, in
listeners.
January?
It's usually in September.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so God knows. But it'll be but I like meeting people who listen to podcasts because they work so hard.
I keep meeting them on dates.
Oh, did they? That's right. They've Googled your name and they're like, "You were on Mental Pod? You were on Wait, were you ever on WTF? Remember the first time we were on WTF together?
Yeah, we were. It was a live one. It was a live one. You, me, and it's supposed to be Mary Lynn Rice Cub. She didn't
bailed.
show up.
She
but
totally
then
bailed.
The whole Marin put it like, but Mary Lynn's not here, and they all started booing. And I'm
was
like,
at
hey,
UCB.
we're fucking right here.
Yeah,
the two of us are here. It'll be okay.
Right. And then I came.
But
out.
I know we're not.
We're not Marilyn Rice Cub. And then I came out, and he had already been quizzing you about some sex thing, and I said,
yeah.
Mark, which I want you to know, this is actually an intervention for Sex Lovers Addicts Anonymous. And I actually got a bit of a hairy eyeball from Mark Maron that particular time. I was like,
those
come
are the
on,
only
dude.
eyeballs he gives are hairy ones.
He's usually super supportive.
The one time I went to a party at your house.
Yeah.
And
did he come? He's been
there.
to one. He's been to one or
he
two
was at
parties.
that party, but that was the one where I was like, I didn't mind that you and Andy were happy because
that was nice of
Marin
you.
was miserable, and I was like,
right.
I'm okay.
Yeah, there's people. There's my people
I'm
are
completely
here.
surrounded by happiness. Yeah,
Well, I think we're done.
we're done.
We did it.
We did too. It's late on Easter, man.
Happy Easter, you guys.
Yeah, happy Easter.
Take care.
Okay, bye.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.